river banks of Douro River, representing different style of wines. Okay, to make a portrait of Ana Paula, I have to say she's an archaeologist with a degree in history and the specialization in museology and heritage. And her professional backgrounds are related or linked to Vila Nova de Gaia, the heart of Porto wines. From 2014, she was supervising different cultural sites and archaeological sites in this city, in Porto. And from 2018, she is managing the Museu, okay, da Primera de Marcassau, which is like the museum of the oldest appellation worldwide. We remember yesterday discussing between Aro and Jerez, which was the most important appellation in terms of wine tourism in Spain, but we have to recognize the importance of Porto City, okay, in this world. The museum is located in Vila Nova de Gaia, as I said before. It is a refurbished building, okay, with many spaces to enjoy the cultural and history of Porto wines, okay. And her company, which is a well-known company called Real Compañía Vella, has a long story to tell because they contributed from its foundation 260 years ago to the development of Porto wines and Porto region, even helping other companies with technical information and technical knowledge, and also making works in the river, enabling the navigation and the trading of the Porto wines. So we are really expecting to hear about Ana Paula Diaz and the example of Porto City in the wine tourism. It's a big example of doing things well. Okay, so Ana Paula, good morning. I hope she's online. Maybe she has to...
Raquel, también quería comentar que en este caso pueden seguir quienes nos están escuchando la ponencia a través de dos canales, en castellano a través de la página web oficial de Wineland y en inglés en YouTube, en el canal de Wineland, desde esa versión en inglés, para aclarar que podemos seguirlo en versión original o también en castellano.
Okay.
Excuse me, Raquel, I didn't use this Zoom application in any time, so I was trying to check where are the links to open the micro and the webcam.
Don't worry, we're on time.
I will now, I need to thank you for the introduction. It helped me a lot. I don't need to talk of so many aspects. In the end, if you want, we can talk in Spanish about the questions you may have and to simplify the discussion part. I try my best in Spanish. Okay, I will try to show the presentation. Let me just, It's showing the presentation. Yes, okay. So let's start. It's important in the beginning. Buenos días a todos. Good morning. This presentation will be made in English because I'm not so proficient in the Spanish language. So thank you for inviting me. This presentation will be divided in two parts. In the first part, we talked about, sorry? No, nothing. Okay. In the first part, we talk about the Porto as a wine tourism city. It's it's a case of success with so many different reasons I will talk about later on this presentation. On the second part of the presentation, I will invite you to meet Real Compañía Vella, that you already know some parts of it. And this 2 centuries old company is expanding their focus on the wine tourism experience. Okay, so let's start the presentation. Okay, in this first slide, I want to talk about the data regarding the tourism in the last couple years. I make a quick research, and what I found, it was that between 2015 and 2019, the number of tourists in Porto gets higher and higher each year. Well, 2020, it's a total exception of that because of the pandemic crisis, but I will talk in the last slide of this presentation. So, as you can see, in the 2018, sorry, we almost achieved the 2,000 visitors, and we passed that mark in the next year. So I think we have a lot of importance and a lot to discuss in this wine as a wine tourism city. I want to also ask you to see the main nationalities where are coming from our visitors. Of course, we have 20% of Portuguese. It's the intern market, but we also have a lot of Spanish visitors, 24%. 14% of the total amount of visitors. And we also have the Spanish, French, the English. We have a lot of different nationalities which are coming to the city to discover, especially the wine and the port wine as its main attraction points. Okay, but why is Porto a case of success as a tourism wine destination? It's what we can find in the next slide. In here, you have some aspects that are transversal to the tourism in general, but they are applied in the wine tourism itself. Has the cultural and historical background, which have a lot in common with the history of the wine in the region. Also, it's important to see that it's a wine experience tourism itself, and like Porto's cultural and historical background, which is rooted to the wine, particularly history. Okay, with the recognition of this, we have been awarded with Best European Destination many times. So it has increased its popularity as a tourism destination. But how this can be special for the wine lovers? And this is why. We have so many different tourism resources available regarding to the wine itself, or the wine experience. In terms of activities, you can visit in Porto and try some tasting wine sessions. You can go to make a trip in the Rebelo boats in the river. You can go upper in the river in the cruises. In all parts of the city, you can relate it to the port wine experience and the wine itself. The accommodations are inspired in the wine history and background also. And we have many attractions as a museum, like mine, and interactive centers and other specialty stores that you can find everywhere in the city. So regarding its important geographical location, I must say that Porto is the second main city in Portugal, and therefore it's the starting point to discover the region around it. So the city Porto, it's so important in the wine tourism because it links to the green wine routes on the north of Portugal and with the Douro region wine, with the Upper Douro wine region also. So it's a link between all the different aspects in wine that you can find here in the region. Porto is also a foundation member of the Great Wine Capitals, which is important to remember that this prestigious network has recognized the good projects that are being taking place in around the world. Okay, so one of the other aspects is that in Porto you can find the headquarters of the great wine companies and the great wine institutes related to that. Okay, so you have a lot to see in terms of wine in Porto. But the main reason for being such a successful tourism point is because of the port wine is the symbol of the city and the entire region itself. Okay, so I just let you an image of the beautiful city of Porto, and you can see how magic it was. I don't know if you've already been here, but it's wonderful. And in every corner, every street, you can feel the wine, you can check something about it. So, well, in this part of the presentation, I will explain you I will show you the port wine itself, because as I told you before, it's the symbol of this region, and I will make this presentation around it. It's a fortified wine full of character and elegance, and it had many different types and varieties, a wide range of varieties, which it simplifies the wine tasting, because if you don't like white port, you can also try Tawny, Ruby, or the special ones, the vintage, the single harvest. It has so many options to choose that the tasting sessions will be successful for sure. So regarding the port wine, I must also say that one of these biggest important things regarding it's that the winemaking process. It's a totally different, I'm not an expert in wine, okay? I'm a mixologist, but this is a process that it's totally different from the winemaking, and it's special because during this process, we must stop the fermentation in the fewest very early phases. So we stop the fermentation with the, I don't know how to say in English, aguardente vínica, maybe a winery brandy, something like that. And it's giving a sugar fillet to it, and a big higher grade of alcohol also. Yeah, but this is a really old winemaking process with a really strong historical background behind it. So in this next part of the presentation, regarding to the port wine, I must explain you what are the 3 main locations you can visit when coming to Porto. As I told you before, Porto have a privileged location and is the starting point for any tourism routes you can make in here in terms of wine. But in terms of the port wine experience for itself, I can say that it was a vital point for the commerce and export of the port wine. And by that, it gave the name of the city to this port wine. Because although the port wines are produced in Upper Douro region and staged in Vila Nova de Gaia, the main city where the transactions are made are in Porto from centuries and centuries ago. So it gave the name to this port wine, to this beautiful and different wine that we have. So the other main location where you can find a lot of information about the port wine is Vila Nova de Gaia. And in the riverside area of this beautiful also city, we have the cellars from all the companies which are producing port wine. And the cellars are used to storage and aging this wine. So I think that we are not competing with each other. We are creating a big hub for the wine experience. In Porto, you have the monuments, the streets, some headquarters of some facilities, also a big city. But in Gaia, you have the cellars, and the cellars are one of the most important parts in the winemaking process of the port wine. And of course, the final but not the least main region is the Upper Douro wine region, because it's produced the port wine with a great quality, and it's been recognized as UNESCO heritage since 2001. And it's really a magical place. If I invite everyone, if you've never been there, going there, especially in the harvest season or in the autumn. It's a beautiful landscaping, and you know so much in there about the wines, the grapes, the vineyards. It's a beautiful space to visit as a prime tourism wine location. Okay, so well, talking about the Upper Douro region and talking about the port wine itself, for that we need to talk about the history of my company, Real Companhia Velha, because the work made by this company elevated the port wine as a symbol of the region and the symbol of the city of Porto also. And you can see for the prime, from the first name that it has, the big importance that it has on that special location. So the first name is, I will talk in Portuguese, sorry, in Portuguese, Companhia Geral da Agricultura das Vinhas do Alto Douro. This name shows it all. So the company was established to create and promote and regulate and protect the port wine production and exportation. Okay, she was established by Royal Charter in 1756 by these two personalities you can see on the screen. In the left side, you have the king, José I, and on the other side, you have the Prime Minister, Marquês de Pombal. these personalities marked this beginning of the company. It's always been a private company, but in the first phases, it was a majestic one because of the help of the government of the king. So the company had made so many different public works that you already mentioned in your introduction. And so for that, thank you. And the principle, the main work was the demarcation of the Douro region. This demarcation give it a true meaning to the region because it made the port, the Douro, the first wine region demarcated and regulated in the entire world. So it's a really important aspect of the company. In the left side, you have a stone pillar, which was used on the demarcation of the Douro region, of the lands, of the vineyards. And in the left and the right side, sorry, you have a map that shows you the lands and the states who can produce the good quality port wine and the lowest quality port wine. So the good quality port wine is used to exportation to the world, and the lowest port wine, it stays in the city of Porto to use on the taverns and other commercial spots. So now I want to talk about the activities of wine tourism from Real Companhia Velha. I think that the cellars are probably the location in terms of wine tourism with more visitants that Real Companhia Velha has. We are located in Vila Nova de Gaia in the headquarters of, in the actual headquarters of the company. And you can experience so many different technical aspects of the production of port wine in there. It's a really wonderful experience. In here you have guided tours, which ends and culminating in wine tasting session, and you can see so many different parts of the production that it's really immersive experience. So in the left side of this presentation, it's the private cellar of the owners of the company. In there you have 16,000 bottle vintage wine, port wine. So some of the guided tours you can bring it in there. It's a special place to visit. And in the other side you can see some of the barrels and some of the vats where we put the wine for aging. Okay. I think this is one of the greatest cellars in Gaia, and I will invite you to go there to check it for itself. In here you have another wonderful view from the barrels, which are aging Atonis. And now I will pass for Quinta das Carvalhas. I don't know if you are aware, but Real Companhia Velha have 5 states in the Upper Douro region, but only Quinta das Carvalhas is the only one that is visitable. In Quinta das Carvalhas, you can experience majestic landscaping views, and you can also check 18 years old vineyards contrasting with the olive trees and the natural flora from the region. It's a really magical place. And in there, you also have guided tours, walkings. You have so much different types of attractions and activities you can go there to do. And it's a beautiful visit. It will be memorable for sure. So, sorry, I passed that so very quickly. Sorry for that. And last but not least, I want to present you the most recent wine experience and wine tourism point that Real Companhia Velha opened to the public. We opened on September of 2018, as you said very correctly. And we are a very gastronomical and cultural cluster, because we are so different from what you have in here. We are located in Cais de Gaia, in the riverside, and all you have in here are the cellars. So we are trying to give another perspective, giving another way to feel the wine, to know this history, and to know its technicians. Okay, we are trying to complement the visits on the cellars with the totally different attraction experience. Okay, so in this slide you can see the main entrance of the space, and the upstairs is the restaurant. We call it Enoteca 1756. And okay, it's a beautiful restaurant with an impressive wine bar where you can find the greatest wines you can try to taste. It's a beautiful gastronomical place. But, and not least, we are talking here about also the Museu da Primeira Demarcação, Museum of the Oldest Appellation in the world, and in Spanish, probably Museo de la Primera Demarcación, something like that. And this museum wants to share with the public the Real Companhia Velha's collection. We all use original pieces, so I think we try to give an immersive interaction to the public, and we try to make it singular. As the other places of Real Companhia Velha, we are trying to make a personalized experience for each visitor. Okay. In here, you have guided tours by appointment. We don't have full on everyday basis. The permanent exhibition tells you the story of the port wine and connected to the port wine history of the company. Sorry, I totally messed myself. The permanent exhibition presents the history of the company and linked and connected with the history of the port wine. Sorry for that.
Okay, Ana Paula, sorry, a moment, please. We have to go a bit faster, okay, because we only have 3 minutes to.
Sorry, I forgot the time.
To finish, okay.
We are already.
Don't worry.
Sorry.
focus in the thing you consider most important in your presentation, okay, to end with, okay? So,
okay.
Thank you.
So, moving forward, I will show you some of the images. The exhibition area is divided in 7 parts. You can see in the first slide, in the first image, the first area of the exhibition, and in the second image, the 6th part of that. So, finishing the presentation as fast as I can.
Okay.
I need to make a resume of the situation that we are living in Porto. The COVID-19 pandemic has a huge impact of the wine tourism of the region. If you meet Porto in early of this year, you see a totally different, vibrant city with a lot of tourism around here, and now we are totally blocked and with not so much opportunities in the tourism area. So we try to adapt to that. In the specific case of Real Companhia Velha, the administration decided to make a break, temporarily close the museum and also the cellars due to the restrictions of the mobility restrictions that we have here in this region specifically. However, Quinta das Carvalhas is still open to the public because it have less restrictions in the terms of mobility. Hopefully, the 2021, which will be a very, very better year when we can control this terrific crisis and this pandemic, hopefully. Okay. I will finish just the presentation now.
We have a question, okay? When you finish, if you can go a bit fast, okay?
I just want to show you not commercial, the promotional short version of the movie that we have in the museum.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
Okay, super nice. We are hungry for traveling.
Hope you can visit us in a very short period.
Yeah, we are expecting. So, Ana Paula, we have a question, okay? Can you go in Spanish?
I will try it.
I'll try my best. I make the question in English if you want to, and you make the answer in Spanish. Well, as the double face of your company, you are a producer and also you are a cultural institution, okay, in your area with the museum. Which was the receivement of your competitors in the area of the museum? It was well considered like another resource in the region or another competitor resource in the same area?
Sorry, you can repeat the question.
Yeah, okay. As the double face, you are a producer of wines, you are a brand. Okay,
please, ask me in Spanish.
En Spanish, vale. Mira, como sois una marca que a la vez tiene una empresa de vinos, una bodega, una compañía que produce vinos, sí, ¿no? Y a la vez sois también una institución cultural porque tenéis un museo bastante general, ¿no? En la zona que da un poco soporte a toda la cultura del vino de Oporto. ¿Cómo habéis sido recibidos por los competidores de la zona, por otras marcas, por otras bodegas? como un recurso cultural que apoya el resto de bodegas o bien como un recurso de un competidor más contra el que hay que competir, ¿no? Para atraer visitantes.
Nos intentamos ser un recurso compatible con las otras marcas. Perdón, mi español es terrible.
No, está muy bien.
No lo queremos competir con las bodegas en el Cas de Gaia. La bodega de Real Compañía Vella está localizada, estoy a intentar mudar el chip para español. La bodega de Real Compañía Vella está localizada en el centro de Gaia. Y por tanto, la compañía creó este espacio bajo aquí en el Cas de Gaia para complementar la oferta cultural y de enoturismo de la región. Creo que podemos ser un punto de acceso para todas las otras compañías que producen vino, porque no somos competidores de todo. Nuestro público algo no es lo mismo que el público de las caves, es un público un poquito más diferente, un público que necesita más de cultura, que quiere saber más sobre la historia. Muchos de los vienen aquí después de venir la parte técnica en las botellas. Eso es un ótimo complemento para eso.
Perfecto.
No tenemos que ser rivales,
claro.
Tenemos que respetar y nos apoyar mutuamente.
Perfecto, pues nada, muchísimas gracias, Ana Paula, por tu ejemplo.
¿Conseguiste entenderme?
Sí, perfectamente, sí, te hemos entendido perfectamente y mil gracias y deseando volver a Oporto. Así que gracias por todo.
Muchas gracias.
A ti.
Gracias, Ana Paula, gracias, Raquel. También vamos a continuar con este Wineland 2020, con este Foro Mundial del Vino. Viajamos de Oporto para hablar de algo muy interesante también, de nuevos formatos y de nuevas alternativas en materia vitivinícola, en materia de enoturismo también.
Dime.
¿Qué hace por aquí con nosotros Eladio? Te estamos escuchando. Hola, Eladio, ¿me escuchas? Creo que hemos perdido la conexión con Eladio. Mientras recuperamos la conexión con Eladio, lo que vamos a hacer es ver una información, un vídeo que tenemos preparado del periódico La Rioja, del diario La Rioja, que vamos a ver a continuación.
En Ibercaja somos especialistas en nuestro campo, la gestión financiera, pero también lo somos en el tuyo. Sí, en tu campo, uno como este. Porque no olvidamos dónde están nuestras raíces y porque llevamos muchos años sembrando la semilla del compromiso con este sector. Un compromiso para los que llevan toda la vida, pero también para los jóvenes agricultores que están empezando. Gracias al Campus Ibercaja y a las ayudas para la financiación de los primeros proyectos agrícolas, nos comprometemos a que este negocio esté en constante evolución y desarrollo. Sabemos que el primer paso para ayudarte es estar cerca de ti. Por eso, desde la sencillez, la amabilidad, la transparencia y, sobre todo, desde las casi 300 oficinas agro, te damos un trato personalizado con los profesionales más especializados del sector. Al estar a tu lado, te conocemos. Y como te conocemos, sabemos encontrar la solución financiera que mejor se adapte a tus necesidades. Desde la financiación de inversiones o la compra de maquinaria a la seguridad de toda tu explotación. Cada empresa es única y experta en algo. Tú lo eres en el campo y nosotros en ayudarte a sacar el máximo rendimiento a tu trabajo estés donde estés. Trabajando juntos, en equipo, de una manera ágil y digital, para poder adaptarnos y conseguir todos los objetivos que buscas. Sí, definitivamente vamos con el campo y vamos contigo, porque si algo nos apasiona tanto como a ti, es ver crecer todo lo que podamos sembrar juntos. Ibercaja Agro, el banco del vamos.
Hace 6 meses, el mundo se paró en seco a causa de una pandemia mundial. Diario La Rioja siguió informando a pie de calle para contar a los riojanos lo que estaba sucediendo en el exterior. Información veraz, contrastada y con rigor, porque estar bien informado es un bien de primera necesidad. Ya hemos vuelto a nuestras calles, nos hemos reencontrado con nuestras familias y amigos, hemos vuelto a la actividad. Las empresas y comercios son el motor de nuestra ciudad y nuestros pueblos. Diario La Rioja quiere ayudarles a llegar a sus clientes en esta nueva etapa, porque es el periódico más leído en La Rioja con 69.000 lectores diarios y el medio líder en Internet con 97.326 lectores, llegando a través de los dos soportes a 166.326 lectores diferentes al día, el 52% de la población de La Rioja.
Ya tengo sonido y todo, sí, si no...
Con un perfil muy atractivo. Además, pueden anunciarse en formatos y plataformas. Diario La Rioja, información con valor, cerca de ti.
Ya estamos aquí, ya están preparados nuestros siguientes ponentes, ya nos escuchan, ya veo en pantalla a Juan, ya a Eladio también. Bueno, en una jornada ahora en la que vamos a hablar sobre nuevos formatos, sobre la diversificación. Así que Eladio Araiz, Eladio, te dejo para que puedas presentar a nuestro siguiente ponente, a Juan Parr.
Pues muchas gracias, buenos días a todos. Hola Juan, ahora que te vuelvo a ver. Nada, la verdad es que he estado disfrutando un buen rato tanto de la ponencia, la última de Oporto, como la de Sarah Jane, que me ha parecido súper importante, que enlaza muy bien, yo creo, con lo que se va a hablar a partir de ahora en la ponencia de Juan. Yo creo que el título de las nuevas oportunidades para formatos alternativos creo que es algo que ya se viene trabajando y que venimos trabajando en el sector, pero que es verdad que todo lo que conlleva el COVID durante este año pues ha venido a acelerarse seguramente, y entiendo que de todo eso nos va a hablar ahora Juan. Como sigamos un poquito justo de tiempo, paso a presentar a Juan y luego si hay algún tipo de cuestión o alguna cosa que se haya quedado, lo hablamos en el debate. Juan yo creo que es un viejo conocido del club de marketing, de las bodegas, de las empresas en Rioja, y yo creo que, hablándolo también el otro día con la gente del club de marketing, yo creo que es fundamental que tengamos a Juan todos los años en el foro contándonos las novedades, los nuevos insights, nuevos mercados, nuevos formatos como es hoy, ya que su empresa Wine Intelligence pues es una de las empresas de referencia, pues yo creo recordar que tenías en torno a, no sé si 100.000 consultas a cabo del año, estáis viendo, analizando más de 30 países, etcétera. Yo creo que es una foto que además de viajes, además de ferias, además de equipos comerciales, pues muchas veces conocer datos de países a través de informes y estudios como los que ellos hacen, pues es una necesidad pues importante. Juan concretamente es licenciado en Sociología por la Universidad de Salamanca y también es máster en Investigación por la London School of Economics, con lo cual, Juan, por favor, adelante y luego, como te digo, pasamos a cuestiones, a preguntas, etcétera. Adelante.
Vale, muchas gracias, Eladio, y un placer saludarte y gracias a Wineland por contar con nosotros en este año tan interesante. Y es un año que hemos aprendido mucho y de todo. Hemos aprendido de qué hacer con epidemias. Por ejemplo, no sé si te suena el modelo del queso suizo, que dice que para controlar la epidemia pues se necesitan distintas capas. Se necesita distancia social, mascarillas, geles hidroalcohólicos y abrir las ventanas o ventilación. Y eso es lo que hemos aprendido. Y lo que dicen los expertos es que igual cada una por separado no es tan eficaz, pero cuando juntamos varias, pues ya estaremos mucho más protegidos. Y esto, si lo pensamos con cómo afecta la crisis a las bodegas, pues podemos hacer una analogía. Y es que nos ha venido la crisis, pero aquellas bodegas que tenían varios mercados, o aquellas que tenían varios canales, o aquellos que trabajan con distintos estilos, y finalmente aquellos pues, que trabajan o tienen distintos formatos, pues igual cada una de ellas no sirve para paliar la crisis, pero si las combinamos pues podemos ser una empresa pues, más preparada, más, que se pueda adaptar más rápido, digamos, a la crisis y a las necesidades, porque no todos los mercados han reaccionado igual, no todos los canales sin duda han reaccionado igual, y en cuanto a estilos y formatos parecidos. Y vemos en esta crisis que hay bodegas que les ha ido francamente bien. Los que están en supermercados, en UK, en Canadá, los que tienen vino tinto, vino rosado, pues para ellos ha sido un año bastante bueno. La mayoría de bodegas se han tenido que adaptar y aquí se habla de la compensación, pues lo que tengo en el off-trade, pues a ver si puede compensar un poco lo que he perdido en otros canales. Y los que más han sufrido, digamos, los que la lotería de la crisis pues peor les ha sentado. Espumosos, mercado nacional, sin online, solo en restauración, digamos. Así que vemos que para ser más resistente pues tenemos que coordinar o protegernos mejor distribuyendo pues dónde estamos. Y para hoy pues hablaremos de los formatos, que era pues una de esas posibilidades que nos permiten sobrevivir mejor la crisis. Voy a haceros una pregunta antes. ¿Qué ocurrió antes? El Homo sapiens sapiens, ¿qué hicimos antes? ¿Visitamos la Luna o le pusimos ruedas a una maleta? ¿Te animas, Eladio?
Pues sí, porque te conozco. Dale, dale.
Pues sí. Fuimos antes a la Luna que se nos ocurrió ponerle ruedas a la maleta. Y esto es curioso porque la tecnología ya existía, ya no existían maletas y ya no existían ruedas, pero no se nos había ocurrido unirlas. Y otra lección de es que a veces pensamos en grandes soluciones, pero a veces olvidamos en pequeñas adaptaciones que pueden servir mejor a nuestros consumidores finales. Otra es que la innovación, sí tenemos que ver cómo responde a necesidad. Porque, ¿por qué tardamos tanto en ponerle ruedas a maletas? Porque no viajábamos tanto o incluso estaba mal visto pues tener ruedas, como pasó con otras innovaciones. Y por último, que el consumidor debe aceptarlo. O sea, con antes pues no se viajaba tanto y luego pues el consumidor, aparte de tener los hábitos, debía pues aceptar esta innovación como algo interesante. Y con el packaging vemos algo parecido. En el fondo que hay muchos packaging alternativos que existen. Incluso, ¿qué pasó antes del 70, del 69? Es que ya Peñaflor, en 1968, el productor argentino ya estaba intentando comercializar pues vino en lata en este caso. Y llevamos mucho tiempo pues intentando solucionar el problema, entre comillas, que es que estamos demasiado dependientes de un formato, que es la clásica botella de vidrio de 75. Y siempre pues pensamos, ¿cómo podemos solucionar esto? Pero si vemos la historia, vemos que todavía no hemos dado muy bien con la solución. Desde el 68 pues vemos que ahora parece que ha podido crecer un poco más la lata, pero si vemos un vino en lata, realmente todavía reaccionamos bastante mal a esa idea. Puede ser con razón o puede ser sin razón, pero solo digo que el consumidor pues le cuesta mucho más de lo que a veces esperamos pues adaptarse a nuevas posibilidades y nuevos formatos. Como has dicho, ahora viene la crisis. ¿Y qué ha hecho esta crisis? Pues bueno, esta crisis ha supuesto una sobre todo un cambio. Digamos, un cambio de hábitos, un cambio de lo que estábamos acostumbrados. Y si vemos pues, búsquedas en Google de vino champán y de vino de cava, veíamos que el patrón era todo el año igual, pues plano y luego pues en Navidad o en festividades así más destacadas pues teníamos interés. Este año ha cambiado, que de repente el vino ha tenido un mini boom de consumo en un periodo que era el de marzo a abril, que era pues distinto al de otros años. Y sin embargo, pues el espumoso, en este caso el cava y champán, pues tuvo el efecto, digamos, contrario, lamentablemente para ellos. Y este mini boom del vino también viene asociado con un cambio en cómo consumimos vino. Porque lo que sabemos de nuestros datos y otras investigaciones, que las ocasiones informales en casa al acabar el día eran aquellas que más que más han crecido y también por necesidad. Estábamos con niños en casa, no había colegio, pues había que beber algo al final del día. También ocasiones más continuadas en el tiempo, quizá no con comida o no siempre con comida, lo cual trae más estilos quizá diferentes, que no tiene por qué ser pues un tinto fuerte con un chuletón, sino que quizá pues estilos un poco más amables. Hemos visto cambios en cuanto a cómo cuál es el consumo social, pues con videollamadas, con catas en casa, etcétera, etcétera. Y este caldo de cultivo, digamos, pues hace que hayamos, pues, primero, hemos seguido confiando en el vino, lo cual es muy importante. El problema es lo que siempre se dice ahora, es compensa o no. Si compensa o no, que sabemos que no, en muchos casos no nos compensa. Pero desde el punto del consumidor vemos eso, que el consumidor sigue confiando en el vino, pero con ocasiones de consumo muy diferentes. ¿Y cuál es el impacto de estos cambios en cuanto a formatos? Pues vemos que varía por mercado también. Si vemos el caso del Reino Unido, primero es la botella típica, es lo que más sobresale. Pues el consumo en supermercados pues creció mucho, así que la botella pues clásica es lo que más se benefició, digamos, de este mini boom. Pero ya en mercados como el Reino Unido ya vemos pues el bag-in-box pequeño o la botella un poco más pequeña, ya vemos que van ganando en interés del consumidor en este año de pandemia. Y eso el Reino Unido, que es quizá pues, un poco más conservador. Si sabemos que en Suecia pues, el bag-in-box creció mucho, y ya si nos vamos a Estados Unidos, que es un mercado pues, mucho más aventurero, digamos, vemos que muchos distintos tipos de formato crecieron. Creció la botella de vidrio clásica, cierto, pero también la botella pues, más pequeña, el Magnum, la botella media, o sea, media botella, el bag-in-box, hasta las latas, pues vemos que están teniendo un buen desarrollo en este mercado. Así que vemos que por distintos motivos, pero hay, digamos, un mayor interés para distintos tipos de formatos, sobre todo en mercados pues, más abiertos como Estados Unidos. Este interés también viene ligado a muchos distintos tipos de segmentos en cuanto a edades, desde los más jóvenes, que los pobres de ellos se tuvieron que quedar en casa durante mucho tiempo, no pudieron socializar como es su costumbre. Así que pues también hemos visto que muchos consumidores jóvenes, sobre todo en estos mercados pues más dinámicos, pues sí que contribuyeron y sí que empezaron a consumir vino, que igual habrían estado consumiendo otras cosas en bares o discotecas, pero vemos que sí que cambiaron un poco el vino y cambiaron muchos también formatos alternativos de vino. ¿Y por qué? Pues podemos hacer un mapa de posicionamiento de cada formato, y si esto es muy complejo, pero si me seguís, pues vemos que el bag-in-box pues más pequeño pues puede ser mejor para una ocasión informal, ya sea social o ya sea si estás solo en casa y solo quieres un vaso de vino cada noche. Vemos que si estás solo ya sea solo o con la familia más cercana, pues botellas más pequeñas pueden ser aceptables. Para beber al aire libre, sí que hemos visto que las ocasiones, digamos, en parques, cuando hacía bueno, en verano, pues la gente pues, ha salido a parques y, ¿por qué no? Pues el vino en otros formatos pues, puede ayudar a los consumidores en esta ocasión. Y la botella de vidrio, además de las ocasiones pues, formales en casa, pues también para hacer regalos, pues sigue siendo digamos, el formato estrella en cuanto al vino, pero vemos que otros formatos pues, pueden aprovechar nuevas ocasiones de consumo que se han ido produciendo. También en cuanto a motivaciones o necesidades del consumidor, podemos ver este tipo de mapa, y si me permitís, pues, ¿qué ventajas pueden tener pues, las latas? Pues el consumidor nos dice pues, conveniencia de transporte, también curiosidad. Pues en Estados Unidos una categoría pues, creciendo que el consumidor pues, dice pues siento curiosidad por probarlo. Aunque sí que siga, pues dependerá de qué está probando y si le satisface. Vemos botellas más pequeñas, pues formatos para probar nuevos vinos, pues igual sin arriesgarse mucho, pues igual nos apetece un formato un poco menos exigente en cuanto a volumen para probar o para catar. Formatos grandes también hablamos mucho del medio ambiente y podemos ver del impacto del transporte. Pues formatos pues igual más grandes o alternativos pueden valer con esos claims del medio ambiente. Y finalmente, pues emocionalmente, lo que la botella clásica sobre todo tiene es que las marcas que conocen todavía en su gran mayoría vienen en ese formato. Así que y ahí está un poco el dilema de todos estos formatos alternativos. Es que todavía la gran mayoría o hasta que nos probemos estos formatos, la gran mayoría de marcas, digamos, importantes, pues el consumidor todavía no se va a lanzar a este tipo de formatos alternativos. Si lo vemos con el café, bueno, el café venía mucho tiempo siendo soluble, pero no habían encontrado otro formato para darle calidad y tuvo que venir George Clooney pues, para educarnos y para enseñarnos cómo tomar café en formatos alternativos. Y las grandes marcas pues, podrían en el futuro pues, tener digamos, este punto de educación a los George Clooney. Y para acabar, pues le hemos visto que para pues, el ser más resistentes en futuras crisis, pues todos hemos tenido que adaptarnos para sobrevivir, ya sea en cuanto a delivery de restaurantes, ya sea en cuanto a la mayor venta online, ya sea por miles de cuestiones, y vemos que los packaging también pueden tener esta función. Si vemos Coca-Cola, pues que no es de mi agrado, pero digamos es un buen ejemplo. Ellos tenían esta publicidad del tamaño justo para no compartir, que es un claim un poco feo, pero ellos lanzaron pues, el concepto de mini, de packaging pues, más pequeños, más manejables. En esta ocasión, digamos, continua, que es el estar en casa que hemos estado viviendo. Sabemos que la categoría de mayor crecimiento en Estados Unidos dentro de las bebidas alcohólicas fue el hard seltzer y ahora pues hay muchas empresas que están intentando pues dentro del vino pues emular con wine seltzers que tienen sabores y tienen pues sobre todo blancos y rosados, que es el que más pues se asocia a este tipo de formato. No creo que veamos grandes reservas en este tipo de formato, pero para productos pues, más afrutados, más livianos o más llevaderos y fáciles de beber, pues puede ser un formato interesante. Sara mencionó las cajas, ahora que tenemos el transporte, porque claro, ¿cuál es el problema del vidrio? Que se rompe. Y aparte, pues que la planta es circular, no es muy eficiente a la hora de transportarse y a la hora de evitar que se rompa. Entonces, pues ahora sí necesitamos transportar vino. ¿Cuál es la solución? Pues cartones muy complejos y muy elaborados. Consecuencia, pues los costes suben, etcétera, etcétera. Así que si vamos a crecer online, pues cómo podemos pensar en formatos alternativos que puedan ser más llevaderos. Y ahora que hacemos pues muchas más catas, también dentro del mundo de las catas, cómo podemos satisfacer esta demanda de una manera creativa e interesante. No quizá mandar todas las botellas, pero sí pues tener muestras que sean pues más fáciles de transportar, con menor impacto, pero a la vez pues más manejables para el consumidor final. Así que estos son mis 10 minutos de lo que creo que ha sido el impacto de la crisis y por dónde creo que pueden ir las cosas.
Pues sí, bueno, creo que estoy ahora. Sí, comentarte, Juan, bueno, yo creo que has hecho un vistazo fantástico a lo que es la realidad con la que nos estamos encontrando. He apuntado sobre todo las dos diapos que has preparado para la ocasión frente al formato y las motivaciones frente al formato, porque me parece que bueno, luego creo que está a disposición de todo el mundo la presentación y creo que ahora no daba tiempo igual de quedarnos un poquito más, pero desde luego yo la voy a repasar porque yo creo que es de un vistazo para la hora de compartir con un equipo y sobre todo en una bodega en la que, joder, muchas partes, producción, logística, exportación nacional, etcétera, participamos en las decisiones de lanzar nuevos productos al mercado, pues me ha parecido como muy gráfica para compartir y te la robaré. Y te nombraré abajo y será idea tuya, pero me ha parecido súper interesante. Y por intentar lanzarte alguna pregunta pues quizás puedes estirar un poquito más qué formatos habéis visto que están funcionando para el online, además del que has comentado ahora que había puesto también Sarah Jane Evans, o para el delivery, ¿no? Porque nos estamos encontrando con esto quizás de la crisis, bodegas que estaban en los restaurantes con bodega, mejor dicho, pues están viendo que además del delivery pueden también vender vino en algún caso, hacer el menú maridado lo entregan. Bueno, no sé qué has podido ver o qué te ha llegado o qué otras iniciativas conoces de otros países, además de España, ¿no?
Sí, yo creo que, como bien dices, todos nos hemos tenido que adaptar y hemos tenido que cambiar para seguir sobrevivir, básicamente. Los restaurantes, lo que han tenido que hacer. Y yo creo que o sea, más que ver qué han hecho las empresas, yo creo que ahora cada vez nos estamos dando cuenta de las consecuencias del online, ¿no? O sea, el online estaba bien, llevamos muchos años pues a ver si crece, y ahora según crece pues vemos, vale, pues cómo hacemos para que sea más eficiente, para que sea más efectivo, para que los costes no sean desorbitados. Y yo creo que cada vez, sobre todo pues en tema de catas, pues se van a hablar pues formatos pues en botellitas pequeñas, digamos, para una cata para compartir entre amigos. Hicimos nuestra fiesta en Wine Intelligence, fue exactamente eso, pues una cata con 6 vinos y era con gente en Italia, donde tenemos el equipo, en Francia, en España, por supuesto, en Reino Unido, en Estados Unidos, y a todo el mundo pues el día antes pues nos entregaron las botellitas con vino inglés, francés, uno de Rioja, por cierto, y luego pues acabando con el Porto, ya que hablábamos de eso. Yo creo que pues eso, considerando que el cristal es muy pesado y se rompe, pues cómo podemos hacer para ser un poco más flexibles en cuanto a eso. Y otra problemática que yo creo que hablábamos ayer, que es la gente mayor, pero no sé si quieres dar el...
No, te iba a preguntar...
Sí,
bueno, la idea de los nuevos públicos, creo que estamos también todo el sector intentando entrarle con la gente joven. Sarah Jane también lo decía en su ponencia, los millennials, estamos intentando llegarles, que vengan de otras categorías y hacerles más amable el mundo del vino. Yo creo que eso está ya pues muy trabajado, estamos en ello, no es fácil mover al sector, pero te comentaba precisamente qué pasa con la gran cantidad de gente, de población, que puede ser entre 35 y 65 años, que es teóricamente el consumidor objetivo del vino en el que estamos, que hasta ahora no se ha acercado al vino, ¿no? Que hasta ahora hay una gran parte de la población, probablemente, no sé si mayor en número que de millennials, que son público objetivo claramente, pero que el vino han estado siempre un poco lo han visto como algo muy exclusivo o un poco estirado a veces, como con mucha liturgia. Quizás los nuevos formatos que planteas o innovar en formatos alternativos nos sirva como una pequeña palanca también para activar a ese tipo de gente, ¿no?
Sí, lo que dices es muy interesante, porque toda la liturgia, todo lo que envuelve al vino es también lo que lo hace bonito. O sea, no nos vamos a engañar, y es lo que lo hace interesante. Pero sí que nos conviene pues empezar a decir, pues tenemos los productos de muy calidad, etcétera, pero luego tenemos productos, digamos, de acceso. De hecho, una de las principales barreras de la maleta con ruedas, volviendo a la invención, es que era un bajarse de nivel. O sea, tú si viajabas y tenías las maletas cuadradas, te las llevaban, ¿no? Entonces, pues empezar a mostrar que te llevas tu propia maleta, pues era un poco bajarse. Yo creo que en este caso, pues nos tenemos que adaptar al pues eso, a distintas opciones, distintas necesidades. Y luego, pues saber que no todo el vino va a ir en lata, por supuesto, pero hay distintas posibilidades y distintas ocasiones. Y luego el consumidor mayor es muy interesante por otro motivo. Ya si nos vamos a los rangos más mayores, vemos una problemática, sobre todo en mercados europeos, que es el de, bueno, una tendencia que es la de la moderación, ¿no? El consumidor que no está bebiendo tanto en cuanto a alcohol neto, digamos. Lo cual está muy bien porque vivimos más, queremos tener mejor salud, y ahí donde los formatos alternativos puede venirle bien al vino en cuanto a bebo menos pero mejor, ¿no? Porque cada vez una barrera más para, según nos hacemos mayores, es, bueno, quiero un vaso de vino pero no quiero abrir una botella. Entonces, pues para consumidores mayores que están de vuelta de todo y que pueden ser más abiertos a innovaciones que a veces los jóvenes también quieren toda la liturgia. Un consumidor, según nos hacemos mayores y nos da igual lo que piensen de nosotros, pues para esta tendencia de moderación puede ser interesante otro tipo de formatos.
Bueno, yo creo que eso también viene a que esto es una tendencia. Fíjate el sacrilegio que era tener la rosca, ¿no?, en una botella frente al corcho, y eso parecía que ningún vino de calidad se iba a poder beber iba a poder estar representado, pero bueno, al final los países del Nuevo Mundo vinieron a cambiar eso, ser práctico, y UK es un ejemplo claro también en el que funciona ese formato, y bueno, y al final sigue quedando evidentemente, yo creo que el vino de calidad, y por una necesidad también de envejecimiento, como sabes, es bueno, pero para ciertos momentos esto, lo que decíamos antes con la parte quizás digital que ha venido a remover todo lo del COVID, ¿no? Pues esto ya venía, igual que el consumo que acabas de decir. La bebida anterior era en garrafones de 16 litros y eso prácticamente se bebía 1 litro en cada comida. Bueno, esa tendencia evidentemente ya venía, pero como tú muy bien planteas, pues ya a corto plazo estamos viendo que los formatos más pequeños pueden ayudar. Y si te parece, yo, por enlazar también, como has comentado ahora, con el norte de Europa o con otros países de Europa, una última de mercados. Has comentado que hay mercados como el americano, como el norteamericano, más abiertos a este tipo a estos cambios. Te iba a preguntar, Asia, ¿cómo ves como bloque general? Si también los percibes como un poco más abiertos, o quizás al ser consumidores que se han incorporado un poquito más tarde, siguen viendo la botella clásica, el corcho, el vino pues así como más de categoría, como una opción. Eso por un lado respecto a Asia. Y también si, por contra, el norte de Europa, que era un mercado tradicional de bag-in-box y de formatos menos rígidos, si quieres, pues si estáis con datos de si ha habido un cambio para más avanzado o vuelta a lo anterior. No lo sé. ¿Cómo lo ves?
Sí, yo creo que en Asia, o sea, son mercados emergentes. Los mercados emergentes todavía esperan la liturgia y todo el tema. China, evidentemente, está evolucionando mucho en cuanto a, pues al principio era muy de prestigio, muy de Burdeos, y ahora vemos que ha evolucionado mucho, pero todavía, por ejemplo, hay el Screw Cap, o sea, el escorcho, ¿no? O sea, todavía tienen esta visión de lo que debe ser el vino. En otros, lo que sí que vemos tendencia, pues sobre todo más visual, o sea, como no siempre saben lo que viene escrito en las botellas. En Japón sabemos que las marcas con una criatura pues las va muy bien, así que yo creo que son un poco, tienen sus tendencias particulares, digamos.
Okay.
Suecia, sí que sabemos que este año pues ha crecido, el bag-in-box ha vuelto un poco, pues ha crecido en cuanto a formatos, sobre todo pues junto a vinos rosados, digamos, si juntamos las dos tendencias, y yo creo que responde bien eso a la ocasión informal continuada en casa, a la necesidad de salir pues menos veces. Yo creo que ha venido bien este tipo de formato justo para las necesidades, sabiendo que Suecia pues ha tenido sus políticas diferentes en cuanto a COVID, etc. Y yo creo que lo que decías de Screw Cap es muy interesante, porque cuando crecía el Screw Cap, yo creo que incluso Parker tenía una predicción que decía: en 10 años todo va a ser Screw Cap. Y realmente no hemos visto que sea así. O sea, sí que es verdad que en Nueva Zelanda, pues, o en ciertos mercados, pues el Screw Cap está muy implantado, pero sobre todo muchos de los, digamos, al final las innovaciones cohabitan. O sea, tienes el corcho para un tipo de vinos, tienes el escruca para otro tipo de vinos y con el packaging podemos, o sea, seguro que pues la botella clásica pues tiene muchos beneficios emocionales y de todo este tipo. Yo creo que al final pues cohabitarán con otras packaging, pues eso, dependiendo de la ocasión y dependiendo de la motivación.
Vale. Pues Juan, ya me están indicando que tenemos que intentar cumplir a rajatabla los tiempos. La verdad es que vamos, yo como espectador privilegiado de la ponencia me lo he pasado, me ha encantado como siempre. Me guardo un par de ideas de las que has lanzado, seguimos en contacto y de parte de todo el mundo, esto da rabia porque normalmente en los presenciales aplaudiríamos, igual teníamos que haber puesto unos aplausos enlatados, pero muchísimas gracias como siempre por
nunca
compartir.
Mejor dicho, ¿no?
Enlatados en este caso, sí, Underwood. Y lo dicho, que como siempre un placer, que te mando un abrazo fuerte de parte de todos y hasta la próxima. Chao.
Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Gracias, Eladio. Gracias, Juan. Hemos aplaudido, ¿eh? Ya Hola, Tom. ¿Qué tal? Bienvenido. Toda una institución en el mundo del vino, más de 45 años dedicado al sector del vino, 37 de ellos a Rioja y gerente del grupo de exportadores de vino de Rioja, que estábamos escuchando el final de esta ponencia. Y bueno, ahora vamos a ir con las siguientes y que quiero recordar a todos los que nos están siguiendo que como va a ser una ponencia en inglés, pueden seguirla en versión original a través del canal de YouTube de Wineland y en castellano en la página web de Wineland. Así que, Tom, todo suyo, puede empezar a presentar a nuestro siguiente ponente.
Gracias, Silvia. I'm going to introduce the person who knows more about wine tourism marketing and destination marketing that I know, and probably everybody in the world. Anyway, Catherine Montier, in spite of being from Normandy, has spent all of her professional life in Bordeaux, modern languages, with a specialization in business and economics. She immediately started to work in Bordeaux, helping local companies promote their international business. After a while, she moved to Zurich and did the same thing before returning to Bordeaux to develop the same ideas within the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce. Is the development of the Cruise Bordeaux concept, promote Bordeaux as the port of call and to increase the number of cruise ships visiting the city. In my opinion, her crowning achievement so far has been the direction of the creation of the Great Wine Capitals Global Network, an international network of cities located in or near famous wine regions. Currently there are 11. Today, Catherine is still in charge of the network as its managing director and supervises the whole organization as well as its marketing and communication activities. I'm proud to say that Catherine has been a friend and colleague ever since Bilbao Rioja joined the network years ago. Before turning the floor over to Catherine, I'd just like to make a couple of comments in general. There have always been wine tourists. I remember telling me that 100 years ago, in their visitors book, there were people who visited their winery. But it's a long way from inviting a married couple or someone to see the winery than to make it a profit center or as a branch of the social sciences. I think has seen an explosion in wine tourism as a business, as a profit center, and I think nobody knows more about this than Catherine, and I'm excited what she has to say. So without any further ado, Catherine, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna share my screen with you. Please let me know if it works all right. Can you see it? Yeah, I suppose. Can you see my screen? Someone can answer? And can you hear me?
No escucho nada.
You don't hear me, can you? Do you?
Catherine, we can see you,
Yes?
but we can't hear you.
And here you can hear me? No? Can you hear me now? Still no?
Not very well.
Oh my. I don't know. And here, no.
Okay.
You can
Okay,
hear me
good.
now?
Good.
Okay, good, good. And can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Tom, coméntale que...
Hello? I need to know if you see me, if you see my screen, and if you hear me. Please.
Perfect. We can see you in the presentation.
You can see me, you can see my presentation, and you can hear me. Correct? I don't know if I can start. I have no idea.
Yes.
I can start?
You can start anytime.
Okay, thank you. So here I am. Okay, so excuse me for this technical details. I'm happy to be with you this morning, and thank you, Tom, for the introduction. And I was asked to talk to you about how to develop a successful wine destination that is all about wine tourism. All the information that I'm going to share with you now, I get from my experience as the manager of the Great Wine Capitals Global Network. This one of our mission within this network is to promote our wine destinations of excellence. We are at the moment 11 members in this international networks. We have 5 members in Europe. That is Bordeaux from France, obviously, since this network was launched on a Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce initiative more than 20 years ago. We have Bilbao in association with the wine regions of La Rioja in Spain, Porto, Portugal, Verona, Italy, Mainz and the Rhine-Hessen wine valley, Lausanne in Switzerland. And then we have 5 members out of Europe. San Francisco with Napa Valley that are founding members of the network as well, Valparaiso, Casablanca Valley in Chile, Mendoza, Argentina, Adelaide and all the different wine regions of South Australia, and last but not least, Cape Town and the Cape Winelands in South Africa. So our mission again is to, one of our mission, we have several, we work to support the wine industry in all the challenges that they have to face, but our main focus is definitely wine tourism. So how do you cook a nice wine tourism destination? Here are the ingredients for this. First, you will need to have an attractive city, entry city, and accessible city. Of course, the city will have to offer tourism facilities in general, both for leisure tourism and business tourism, and I will tell you why it's important as well. The city must have a gastronomic offer, must have major wine attractions and suggest wine activities, popular public events, and offer a wide range of activities in the vineyards. So what is an attractive city? Attractive city, it's important because people will go to the city, will go to this place. Tourists from abroad or from the domestic tourists will go to this place because it's attractive. What makes a city attractive? Like San Francisco, for example, is definitely an attractive city. Anyone in the world would like to go and visit this. It's like an iconic place to visit. Or Verona in Italy, you know, this is what attracts people there is the cultural aspect, both the old Italian city, but also their arenas that are famous across the world for the operas, plein air operas that they have there. It's by itself a reputation. So people would like to go there just to go to this arena and to listen to the opera. Bilbao, no need to tell you about the iconic Guggenheim Museum, which did so much for the attractivity of the city when it was when it opened. Or it can be also anything like in Valparaiso, Chile, where street art is amazing, and they are Valparaiso is a UNESCO recognized city, including for their ability to attract people because of this street art they have all over the city. Or Bordeaux, for example. I will talk sometimes a bit more about Bordeaux because as Tom told you, I'm based here and I know quite well what's going on here. But Bordeaux, you know, what attracts people to Bordeaux first is the wine. You know, that's 1/3 of the visitors in Bordeaux come because of the wine, but also our architecture, 18th century buildings, wonderful places. And this is an attractive thing. For example, something I wanted to mention regarding Bordeaux, you know, in 2007, Bordeaux was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Port of the Moon has been on there for over 13 years now. And just to give you a few figures, before this recognition by UNESCO, we hosted about 2 million visitors per year. Nowadays, well, not this year because of the crisis, I'm not going to talk about that, but until last year, the figures were up to 7 million, or almost 7 million. So you see the impact of our architecture, of heritage on the destination is very big. So first ingredient on your recipe, make sure you have something in your city that will attract people by itself. Accessibility obviously is a major point. Again, in Bordeaux, we are happy. We are only 2 hours from Paris by train, so that's easy to reach. We are 2 hours from Spain by car, so that's easy for you to come or for us to visit. There is over 100 destinations that are accessible by plane at our Bordeaux airport. And we also are a port of call, which is very important. The cruise business is huge, both, I mean, when it works, not this year, but in a regular way. We host over 50 calls per year, and the tourists on those cruise ships are really important in terms of spending and for the business and for the tourism activities in a city. Of course, to attract visitors and tourists, there must be tourism facilities, both for leisure and for business tourism. Regarding leisure tourism, the city must offer a range of different hotels. Of course, people would like to have cultural activities like museums, wine activities already in the city, and we have you know, wine bars, etc. That must be ready to welcome the tourist. Regarding business, of course, the city will rather have to be equipped with a big, huge, well, I mean, big international hotels. We will look for congress centers like Rioja Forum in Logroño, or they will try to attract some business tourism and conferences through international exhibition. Like here in Bordeaux, we have Vinexpo every other year, and this is such a big event for the city and for the business tourism. We must keep in mind that business tourists that come for an event or a conference or an international fair, you know that they will benefits of the whole environment, wine tourism environment, while they stay in the city, but they will also be returning visitors. If they enjoyed that, they will share then with friends and families this destination and why they were here. The gastronomic offer is important. We're talking wine tourism, and wine and food is just goes together. So we need to have the cities to be attractive, need to have gastronomic offers. Either it can be through the Michelin stars restaurants. In Bordeaux, we have 14, well, in the department of Gironde, we have 14 Michelin stars restaurants, including 4 in the vineyards, or San Francisco, which together with Napa Valley gathers almost 50 Michelin stars restaurants, with 5 of them in the valley. But it can also be a very different kind of gastronomy of food. It can be like you have in Spain, Bilbao, Rioja, tapas, or like they have in Switzerland, their typical dishes, cheese fondue, you know. So this, people will look for this when they come to your destination. Or the last part, the new trend is street food. In Mainz, Germany, they have food trucks, but I'm sure you have them. We have them all over. Now, this is something the tourists and visitors are really fond of, and there is a big development in this kind of, well, street gastronomy. To be a successful destination, you must also, of course, have major wine attractions or wine centers or wine hubs where people will say, oh, I'm in Bordeaux, this is why I find this, or I'm in Bilbao and this is why I find this. So just 2 examples of what we have, like big hubs regarding wines in our great wine capitals. In Bordeaux, La Cité du Vin, that was that opened not in 2016. I'm sorry of this mistake. It's 2018. Their kind of motto is wine is universal. We are not talking about Bordeaux wines in this place. Well, we are talking about Bordeaux wine, but not only. We talk about the wine culture, the international impact of the wine, and heritage. And it is a very, very, very nice place to visit. It's up on the 10 floors. There is a permanent, immersive and sensorial exhibition to visit. There are also a belvedere on top of the building where they have wine tastings with overlooking the Garonne River and the city itself. There's, of course, an amazing wine shop with all the wine from all over the world to be found there. It opened then in June, well, 2.5 years ago, and they reached last March, because since then they were more or less always closed because of the COVID crisis. But they've welcomed 1.2 million visitors in less than 1.5 years, mainly French visitors for sure. But they counted 180 nationalities. Just to say that this kind of equipment, just this kind of hub in a city, really makes people want to come. And this is very important to be able to have this kind of things. Well, you've had this in Spain with in Bilbao with the Guggenheim Museum. It's just that this one is on top of it dedicated to wine. I don't know, but another big wine thing that has opened just very recently is the WOW, the World of Wine in Porto. It was opened in 2020. It's a new, it's a rebuilt, renovated building from the old port wine cellars in Vila de Gaia. I think you heard the previous speaker talking about port and the case at Vila de Gaia. Well, this is where this amazing place has opened. It's 6 immersive museum experiences about wine, cork, fashion, chocolate, heritage, art. They have 9 restaurants and bars, shops. They even have a wine school there, and many places to be rented or to enjoy areas, public areas, and or to organize events. So this again will, put the focus on Porto for many months. Another ingredient very important for a destination is to have major public and popular events. We have in Bordeaux the Bordeaux Wine Festival. It's been launched over 20 years ago. It's a 4-day event. It happens in June every other year, and it's like a big, huge promenade along the Garonne River with people, with 600,000 visitors over the 4 days are tasting wines. They sold last time 62,000 tasting passes, which is huge. And besides this activity, this feria, this celebration, wine celebration that is in the city of Bordeaux itself, of course, it gives them the opportunity to go and visit the vineyards around. Another big national event that takes place in Adelaide, Tasting Australia. It's a wine and food festival. It happens in theory every year. And it's a really collaboration among world-class chefs and general public. It's a 10 days annual event, and it's really amazing. I had the chance to participate once, and you know, this again is in Adelaide. It's in one city, but the whole country will come to attend this event. Just the last thing, because this is so huge and amazing. It's a Fête des Vignerons, and this is in Vevey, close to Lausanne in Switzerland. It happens every 20 years, so it was not launched in 1998, but in 1898. Sorry again for the mistake in the date. It's just a huge thing. It's a live show for that last 1 month. You know, they have 5 shows a week with all these people that you can see there. It's only volunteers, local people that, you know, prepare this. It's just a huge event and so very important. It really puts Vevey and Switzerland on the map of the world, on the wine map of the world, thanks to this amazing event. So you see, there is a lot to do. And last but not least, the Fiesta de la Vendimia in Mendoza, for example, this happens also every year. It's been launched for many years, over almost 100 years. It happened, it's a 4-day event where they have the grapes of the year, benediction, they have the election of the queen of the harvest, and they have this fantastic show in the mountains above the city of Mendoza, with 7,100,000 participants last year. With it's just music, dance, and you know, on the honor of the wine. So these events are very important, and when you think about becoming a destination, a wine destination, you must think about creating something big like this. But of course, besides the cities and this all, there are the wine regions. I'm not going to talk about the wine themselves. It's obvious that to be a good wine destination, you need to have wine, but you need also to have good wine. But why will people come? Why will people come to your place, to your wine regions? First, because of the attractive city, but also because you will, in your vineyard, in your wine region, have many things to offer, different type of things. It can be like, again, some iconic event or iconic service or offer, talking about the hot air balloon in Napa. People would go to Napa Valley just to try this, you know. So this is one thing people will go to the destination too, and of course they will enjoy all the rest of the offer that is available. It can be the train, the wine train in Franschhoek Valley in the Cape Winelands, South Africa. People will go there just to take the train, but then they will, of course, benefit of the other services that are suggested. It can be a private, big, huge initiative. I'm talking about the Darrensberg Cube in McLaren Vale, South Australia. This amazing winery, it's a winery. This amazing place is like a Rubik's Cube. Don't need to explain this. It's a crazy museum, but they have restaurants. Inside they have wine tasting, wine bars. I mean, it's a whole little destination by itself, and it's just iconic. Of course, you know this very famous Marquês de Riscal Hotel and Winery, but this again, people will go to Rioja just to see this, and it will benefit the whole region. One thing is very important is that besides these big iconic examples that I just gave, you must also, well, destinations must definitely offer a wide range of experiences, different experiences, because you have different publics to touch, to attract. You have different publics, you have people that will travel by themselves, in couples, in families, by friends, by bus, by, you know, you have such a range of potential customer, potential tourists that you have to have offers ready for any of them. So you need first to have different accommodation, different kind of accommodation. It can be a simple hotel, but it can also be a lodge. You can have offers of bed and breakfasts, guest houses. You can have fun places to sleep in, like this in Quinta da Pacheca in the Douro Valley, where you can sleep in the barrel, or you will also have, hopefully, luxury, people looking for luxury accommodation. And this, you could, I think anyone could dream to sleep here at Rosa Boer Lodge, sorry, in Mendoza, Argentina. So you have to, you know, a wide range of accommodation, because you have many different kind of visitors. What is very attractive, of course, is the architecture. We mentioned this already, but some people will just go around the world just to visit amazing architecture places. Like here, of course, Isios in Rioja. I don't have to present this, but we also have on the left-hand side, the Carmes Aubryon cellars at the chateau in Bordeaux, very, very close to the center city, to Bordeaux Center, excuse me. And that's been designed by Jacques, or Au Fournier Winery in Mendoza, you know, lost in the middle of the Andes. This is really a very attractive aspect in terms of wine tourism. Of course, cultural attractions must be present, either museums. I've taken this Picasso photo from Dinastia di Banco museum, but it can be also like this place, more wine museum things. People would be interested to understand how was the wine produced before, or cultural also, of course, imply concerns, music and concerts that can be offered in wineries, or sculptures like this on the left-hand side. You have a sculpture at La Motte Winery in Cape Town, close to Cape Town, because this is also attracting people. People don't want to go just for wine tasting. They also want to be given some other kind of food, and culture is definitely a food they will look for. Innovative experience must be offered. We have here at Chateau Reine-Vigneault in Bordeaux, you can have a wine tasting in the Sauterne, sweet wine tasting on top of a tree. Or here at La Motte Bergeron, still in Bordeaux, you can, when you visit the winery, you actually have this view on the barrels space, and through a hologram, you can attend to a blending session between the technical director of the chateau and the enologue consultant that you know, they are actually making the blend for the next production, for the next vintage there. So you just attend to this, you understand how they do it, etc. And it's both innovative in terms of this hologram thing, and both innovative because you never have a chance to actually participate in a blending session, you know, like this. So it's really good. Anyhow, you must have activities adapted to specific targets. I think I made that clear already, but you know, you must address families, so you need to have activities for kids while parents are visiting, and we have more and more offer of this for this kind of public. Sports event, cultural events we talked about, but sport is becoming something as well. Like here in Bordeaux, Marquis de Termes in Margaux, they have this night trail and they have many people come to attend, and then of course it ends by a celebration and a wine tasting and dinner. And also we need activities for younger people. That is not the kids, but not the adults total exactly yet. And they also have been many things going on, like they can organize, some chateaus offer bachelor parties, for example, where the youngsters can meet together, and this is really good. And this is Australia. No, I don't think I need to precise this, but this is one last thing that is very important, I think, and this will be so important in the future, is like the back to nature feeling, back to nature. When you see that in outdoor wine tourism experiences can be so diversified. Nowadays, you can go wine tourism and hike or go biking, you can horse riding, you can have this foodies experience, like a picnic outside of the chateau. You can have this art curiosities with all this work of art disseminated in the vineyard themselves. So you're outside, you just walk around and you benefit of those works of art. It's a good way also, it's a better way to talk to the people, you know, and to make it clear, like, for example, introduction to the terroirs. When you walk on the terroir itself, you can easily explain the visitors, you know, it's easier to figure that out. And it's also a way to create a better biodiversity awareness, because we do have many activities now in terms of environment and sustainability, but it's so very good to be able to explain them to your visitors. Outdoor activities also allow to have wellness activities. Now it's now very much fashionable to go for a yoga class in the vineyard, but it's also something very important I want to point out, is because this is going to be, from my point of view, a trend in the future, is slow tourism. Well, we already know about slow tourism. We already talk about slow tourism, but I think we must and we can talk about slow wine tourism. Here, the Chateau La Motte Bergeron in Bordeaux, you know, they offer a siesta, dormir la siesta, después la visita. So, you know, people, they just visit the wineries, they have the wine tasting, and they just finish the bottle or the glass, you know, on the armchair, and they feel really good. Slow wine tourism. Outdoors, you can also have these fun and playful activities. I mentioned this already, the degustation, the wine tasting on top of a tree. You can organize festive events. I mean, there are so many things to do outside. And again, because of the situation nowadays, wine tourism will be, from my point of view, one of the solution. I mean, one of the tourism sector that will recover faster than others, because it can be practiced outside. It can be, the offers can all be managed outside. Well, summertime, of course, but still. So this is really something that I think will grow this outside activities in wine tourism, and you must, as a destination, make sure that the facilities are there to support the wineries to do this. So that's for now. I just wanted to add one last ingredient to the recipe of a successful destination. It's collaboration. Wine and tourism organizations must work together to promote the destination as a whole. I have this last example, you know, for Bordeaux, where we have all the local organizations, both in the wine sector and in the tourism sector, working hand in hand for the last several years, almost 10 years now. We have the Gironde Tourism Board, we have the Bordeaux Tourism Board, we have the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce, the Bordeaux Agricultural Chamber, we have the Bordeaux Wine Council working hand in hand. We work together, and we have built a whole offer that's now called like Bordeaux Wine Trip. This is the brand. It's a brand new, it's a brand, Irrésistible Vignoble. And this brand is promoted by all the actors all over. We have our websites with the different offers. We have a magazine. We have a TV channel. You know, Bordeaux Wine Trip is just successful because it concerns all the vineyards, all the offer, and it's supported by all the local authorities and stakeholders. Well, I think that's it. So thank you very much. I'm ready to answer your question, if any.
Okay, well, Catherine, thank you very much. I don't expect anything less from you. It was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
One thing that I would just like to add for a second before somebody many years ago coined the term in the great wine capitals. You remember that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of the question.
Well, it wasn't a question.
Okay.
The idea of coopetition.
Oh yeah,
You remember?
Sure. Of course, Rex did find
capitals, competitors, but we work together.
Exactly.
And that's a huge success.
Exactly. I mean, and in particular, well, for networking, co-opetition is definitely a success. But I mean, in the tourism field, well, it's what I always say is that when you are a wine producer, somehow your neighbor, who is also a wine producer, is probably your worst competitor, right? But when you talk about tourism and you are a chateau or a bodega, your neighbor is your best friend, because nobody will come to see you, just you from the far away, just to see one chateau, unless maybe you are Chateau Margaux in Bordeaux or Chateau Petrus, who knows? But these places, they don't welcome visitors anyway. So, but so nobody will come for just one thing. This is why I explained we need a whole range of activities, a whole range of things to offer. So this is why you must work and you must collaborate with your neighbors and with the other. I heard a question for another earlier speaker. Are you in competition with all the sellers that are at Vila Gaia, Vila Nova de Gaia in Porto? No, there is a wide offer. It's good. This is why people come. This is why people come. You must work in collaboration, and within the Great Wine Capitals, this is of course what we do.
Absolutely. Are there any questions from the audience? So you've ridden the wine tourism and the destination tourism elevator, shall we say, from the ground floor, not to the top, but still going up.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how have wine tourism programs evolved in the last 20 or so years? And what are the current trends for you?
Well, I can talk for the first part of the question. I can talk about Bordeaux. Indeed, 20 years ago, there was no wine tourism, none. You could not go and visit a chateau. And when I see the offer that we have now, so very diversified, so very for all those kind of publics, I say, yes, we were late in starting wine tourism, but we have really, I think, again, collaboration is very important. We have reached a level of offer, wine tourism offer, definitely a level of excellence. And we achieved this thanks to the collaboration and thanks to the Great Wine Capitals, when we could go elsewhere and see how they would practice, like when you go and visit Napa Valley, I always say that Napa Valley is like the godfather of wine tourism. Mondavi is the one who actually invented the concept of wine tourism when he was, calling for people from the main road to say, hey, come and have a glass of wine at my wineries. This is how it all started. And for us, we were quite late in Bordeaux, I must admit, saying this, understanding this, and of course, understanding that the return on investment is feasible and is important. I think that made the whole really the difference, and this is why we have now reached this level of excellence in terms of wine tourism. And so the trends now, I think that we are many regions, unfortunately at the moment, are undergoing a crisis in terms of the wine industry, as far as the wine industry is concerned, and in Bordeaux in particular. And we can confirm that wine tourism is is one solution to get out of this crisis. Of course, you will have to adapt because, as I said already, people will be expecting things differently. They will, want security, health measures, etc. So you have to reassure them. You have to promote your destination also as a very secure destination to visit. But I think the trends are all in, making sure that people will be comfortable at your place, and the outdoor activities I mentioned already are exactly following this trend and what people will want to go for. And last thing, of course, in the trend and in the wine tourism is also a trend, is all the online activities, virtual tastings. I think it's a new development for the wine itself, for the wine industry, but also for the wine and tourism activities, that can be led in parallel to your regular activities, but also on top of them, and also counter season. That is, you get to reach your customers in the winter time. You keep the contact, and in terms of marketing, I think it's very important. And marketing in wine tourism is huge. So I think the trends really are there: slow wine tourism and outdoor activities, and virtual experiences, meaning that we all need to be very, very creative. And for anyone that would like to develop their wine tourism activity, you must hire creative people, because this is what will make the difference in the future.
Well, once again, thank you very much, Catherine. Good show.
Thank you.
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël et au revoir. Merci à tout le monde. Bye bye.
Bye, thank you, Catherine. Gracias, Tom. Un placer haber escuchado esta ponencia, que es la última de la mañana. Aquí ponemos este punto y final. Regresamos, tiempo ahora para comer, para hacer un pequeño descanso, y a las 3 regresamos de nuevo. Continuamos con este Wineland 2020 y retomamos con Manuel Martín y con una ponencia sobre otra forma de contar las historias, los millennials y su relación con el vino. Nos vemos a las 3, un pequeño descanso, tiempo para comer, para descansar. Y a las 3 estamos aquí de vuelta en Wineland.